Welcome along to One Hub Racing Season 25, round number 3 at a very wet Hungary for the Hungarian Grand Prix. And yes, I did say wet because the adaptive weather system has decided to be nice to us commentators. We got some rain in qualifying, but not in the race, unfortunately. We kind of hoped it would be raining in the race, but unfortunately it's not. My name is Jess Ball. I'm in the commentary box as per usual. Unfortunately, no sign of Mike. I have no clue where he is. He's probably fallen asleep or something like that. And joining me on standby, I only told him about a few minutes ago, hey, can you come and help me in the commentary box? It is Jamie. Jamie, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine. I just about got dry from our race earlier. So yeah, I'm excited for this. It should be a good race, and yeah, obviously a very wet start to qualifying, so it'll get drier and drier at the end. I think the last 2 or 3 minutes of this qualifying session will be epic, so stay tuned for that because that'll be really exciting to watch.
Yes, indeed. It is full wet now, but we see quite a few people are going on the inters. We may as well go and look at the screen at the moment. You can see people on that because we've got a mixture of tyres on right now as well. So last week we saw Tony take the win. Quite a few penalties have been issued. There was a 10-second time penalty removed for Casper because he had a brake failure and no braking input at all on his MFD. Entity's got quite a few penalties. I think it was around about 10 seconds altogether due to his 2 incidents with Barry and Axelot. And Jake, who's not here tonight, got a 5-second time penalty due to a very risky and ambitious move to overtake Callum entering the pit lane, and that caused Jake to lose his front wing. So those were the incidents as well. And it was very funny actually, Jamie, that Jake was called into the rivalries, and because of that he decided not to show up tonight because he feels like he'll risk people not risking people too much by causing incidents in the pit lane again. I'm only joking, he can't make it tonight, but it would have been funny if he wasn't here due to that.
Yeah, well, I used to have a reputation for crashing in the pit wall a lot, so yeah, I sort of know how he feels. But yeah, it's a shame he's not here, but 17's a decent turnout, and I think we'll have a good race. And yeah, Tony, obviously, he's had epic speed all season. Obviously, we knew how quick he was in qualifying night in Austria and in last week at Monza. He'll be looking to put a real stranglehold in his championship, as I think he's the favourite of the championship, and he showed why last week.
Yeah, he just missed out on, well, he did get pole position, just missed out on the victory last time out in Monza, but due to his very consistent podium finishes, he was able to get the race win, the championship lead all the way through. And of course, let me go through the standings actually on my screen. I had it on my screen, but it got deleted. But Tony got the win last time out, so that pushes him up the order as well. Colin doing very well in the championship too. So we got quite a few close battles in the championship. Of course, Nick did very well on his return to one-up racing, as well as Jay Cole. We got our driver of the day. And Callum got another podium, so he's moved up into second or third in the championship. And so consistency is here. Consistency is key at the moment in this championship. Probably the closest we've seen in the last few seasons. I'm seeing a lot more people, Jamie, going out on the intermediates, and I think I can agree with them that it is starting to dry up a little bit. And I think if I were you, get on the intermediates now, get some laps in, because it's better being out on track now than not being out on track and losing your laps. But there might be danger of them going out on track now and then bidding in the wall, and they won't be able to get some dry runs in.
Yeah, but they won't be going full power, I don't think. They'll leave some in hand, obviously. But you want to get a lap on the board in case you have a drama on the dry lap. It's drier, so you want to get some. You want to try and have as good as possible. And I made a bit of a mistake in my qualifying. I went out far too late on my second run in, and thankfully I managed to come in the pits. I realised at the pit, and you got to keep a close eye on that timer. And yeah, you don't want to be out on these inters when it's dry, because that'd be no fun. As Jay Cole, I think, proves your point that the inters are the best time. As he's gone into the 28s, he's on pole by 1.4 seconds. The lap times will just drop. We just drop massively now. Every lap will be.
Yeah, I think every lap will go very, very fast as the intermediates go on, of course. And we can see Axelot proving our theory correctly as he goes fastest by about a few tenths of a second. So that is very, very great to see from Axelot right now. See anyone else on the intermediates? I think Nick is just doing a few exploratory runs, but he's on one at the moment. Papa Squanchu got promoted from P3 last season. Struggling a little bit to adapt to this season overall, but he's getting better race after race as he makes his way through turn number 10. You definitely need to lift there in these wet conditions. And he makes his way through for the penultimate few corners.
Yeah, these last few corners are absolute nightmare in traction, especially in the dry. This corner takes forever, and it just feels like, especially in the race, when he ties off, he's like sliding through these last two corners. So you're going to try and take a tight line, and no, he wants to be a little bit wide, but you can take multiple lines into there. Cross line, this was like a decent lap for Papa Squanch. I think it'll be in the 28s when he crossed the line. Yes, it is, it's fourth on the grid, and yeah, Papa, it's good to see him in the top tier. Obviously, he'll improve every race in the top tier, I'm sure of it, as Callum puts an impressive 1 minute 25 out there. There's a bit of variance to lap times. I think driver confidence is playing a key factor at the moment.
Yeah, because obviously the track is getting dried. They're feeling more rubbered into the circuit. There is a bit more grit with more cars on the track too. So it's always brilliant to see about that. And if people are not on inters now, they're probably going to struggle a little bit. And you can start to see people braving the softs very soon, but they're not going out just yet. Cam, I don't know what Cam's doing, Jamie, but he's out there on softs now. I don't think it's the right time to go out onto slicks yet. I would say around about with 2 minutes to go, if anything, to go by in the P2 tier, but Cam's already sliding all over the place. Yeah,
if I'm I'll just pit and just wait another 2 or 3 minutes. If you come out in about 2 or 3 minutes time, it'll be good. So yeah, I think he's just coming to pits now. I don't believe he's going to try and attempt to fly in that noise. And maybe I've noticed though, I did the practice earlier. I noticed that sometimes the game gives you a false reading on the soft tyre. Sometimes it gives you the deltas better than it is. So I wonder if he's been caught up by that. As Callum's still on pole by a second, as Papa Squanch goes second. That's a good lap there for him, and Lukey in third. So yeah, you can see. We tend to see on inter tyres or wet tyres, you tend to get tired guys going 2 or 3 lap runs, and obviously the tyre wear is not much of a factor in the wet as it is in the dry, and you don't use much battery, so you can do more back-to-back laps. It's a lot easier in the wet compared to the dry.
Yeah, you can do multiple runs, and if I were you, I would advise you to do it. And it's also a track where it does require a bit of downforce, so there'll be less struggles on the intermediate tyres compared to what we saw with the full wet. And there's not much of a difference between the wing levels, because of course most people will be running 50-50 in the dry anyway, as Axelot goes fastest as well with a 25.4. Anyone else on the inters? We've got way to get towards turn number 1. You can see his dry line starting to form in the second sector, but again, still not dry enough, unfortunately, as well. I'm just asking if anyone was seeing if it will benefit or hinder your race chances being wet. And Colin said it will happen eventually. Wouldn't mind a wet Hungary. Axelot saying it will hinder him for sure, while he's currently fastest at the moment. Callum says, for the love of God, give me rain. And I did have Casper's answers, but it was a little bit of a repeat. Tony says, please, we want rain. I'll be doing a rain dance today to improve the chances. Nick hope doesn't want rain. And I didn't get the others because obviously we didn't have time because we were sorting out the stream. As Matteo goes fastest again with a 24.8. So for most drivers, they surprisingly wouldn't mind the rain, but there's a few drivers that were like, no, I hate the rain. So they're getting a bit of a compromise here today, as we've got 4 minutes to go. I think everyone's just waiting it out, aren't they? Because I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drivers just waiting out in the pits on the soft tyres.
Yeah, you don't want to go too early onto the dries, because if you go too early, you're not going to get the best of a lap, as we saw in P2T. I believe John Mason went out about a minute too early, and his pole lap was 3 seconds off when his driver capable of pole. So you want to go out roughly about 2.5 minutes to 2 minutes. I think that's the good time. Obviously, teammates, if they communicate, they have to ensure that they're both out at the right time and don't get in each other's way coming in and out the pits. And yeah, so it's going to be a bit of a low period for a minute, but watch out these next 3.5 minutes, well, probably more than 3.5 minutes, probably 5 minutes when you consider, obviously, past the 3-minute mark. I'm going to be really excited, man. We're going to see that timing screen change massively. So, yeah, none of these laps, if you get a lap in at the end, it'll definitely be a quicker lap by around 8, 9, 10 seconds, depending on what you've done earlier. So, yeah.
I think for these drivers, it'll probably be about 10 seconds, be about 9, 10 seconds. I think I would expect 1:15s, 1:14s I would expect for these drivers in the top division. But again, it does depend how. And it's still quite wet, but I know when we were racing in the P2 tier, it was still quite wet now, but it dried up very quickly with like a minute to go. So if I were you, just brave it. Go on a set of the soft tyres, and if it doesn't work, fair enough. If it does work, then you probably pulled a strategic masterclass out there on the circuit. So I know you and me, Jamie, communicated in the party chat on when we were going to go out, and they also got to pick the right tyre as well. That's what not helped me in the session, that the game decided for me to go on into. So make sure you read the instructions correctly on that one. I don't think Leroy's going to have enough time to go on to the soft tyres.
No,
but Tony,
he's starting the laps, so.
Tony, who just missed out on pole last week but got the win this week, is out on soft. But you can already see, Jamie, turn 1 is already very slippy. But I think it will dry up within the next minute or so, and that would really start to come alive for the Haas driver.
Yeah, I had the half spin on my. I was similar to Tony there. I had a half spin on my outlap at sector 1, but once I got past like the chicane, it wasn't too bad. I went out probably similar time to when Tony went out. I went out quite early, like 2.5 minutes. So yeah, this is a good time for Tony to go out. But he's going to be first cross line, so this might be difficult to hold on the pole because everybody else coming out now, if they can get. The only problem is traffic. You got to make sure you don't. You give yourself gaps because a lot of cars in the map are very close, and yeah, you can get a slipstream down the straight, but that's no good in sector 2. He's going to lose his bucket all the time. So, and you have to push in your outlaps as well because as DRS is enabled, you have to push in outlaps as well because it's going to be hard to warm up tyres' temperature. The track temperature will be very low, so it's a bit of a balancing act here. It's quite difficult to get your tyres in the right window.
I'm going to make a prediction. I think one of the drivers who's near the back of the queue is going to go fastest because pretty much Tony is going to get the worst of the track conditions. Then it's going to be the likes of Konzo, who's in the Ferrari. He's going to get quite worse track conditions. We got that big train. Let me just go on board with that big train. Now, there's people trying to move out the way and people just slowing down to get some clear air. Now, that's going to be very tricky, where they got around about 30 seconds to go of the session. I don't think we had this dramatic in P2. I think everyone went around about the right time in P2, but luckily most people have remembered to go onto the soft tyres this time, apart from Leroy, who again did not have enough time. So we're about to get started then. I don't think everyone's going to make it in time to finish their run. So I know Nick is, but I'm a bit worried about the ones at the back. And with a few spinners, that could be a bit of an issue. So we've got a few seconds to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Checker flags full entity and unarmed and waits. You're not going to make it in time. Casper is the last driver. Oh, no, Casper did not make it in time. So who? It was not Cam, Leroy, but I think Leroy's on inters anyway. So whoever was behind Leroy should be absolutely fine. So let's watch the first few drivers cross the line. Tony's invalidated. Tony has invalidated. Then we've got Konzo. Leroy goes fast with a 1:21.8, but again, expect time to be quicker. Konzo, don't forget, has got a 3-place grid penalty tonight due to him impeding a few races to go in Austria, and of course he wasn't here last week. So Konzo goes up to the line. What does he do? 1:16.2. That's more like it. For Colin. I thought it was Konzo, but nope, it was Colin. Konzo unfortunately invalidated. Matteo, got a purple middle sector. I expect him to do well. There's going to be a lot of people going across the line very soon, so keep an eye on them. Papa Squatch goes fastest. Lukey, what can he do? Can he go fast? 1:14.6 for Lukey. That is impressive. Larkin goes second. Bear goes second. Then it's Axelot. J. Cole. Oh, it's Mateo that goes fastest. J. Cole goes second. And for the third week in a row, Mateo's on pole position. But J. Cole in P2, our driver the day of last week, I was not expecting that. But the top three separated by 5 tenths per second. But J. Cole and Lukey were just so close.
Yeah, that was important. Obviously, Bill Mateo was one of the last guys to start the flying lap. He got in just across the line well. You see them, the first 4 guys, they started their laps quite late, so that was a huge advantage for them. As Bill Mateo's on pole, J. Cole in second, Luke in third, Axelot in fourth, Barrett in fifth, Larkin 6th, Nick in 7th, Papa Squanch 8th, Colin 9th, Cam in 10th, Konzo 11th, Leroy in 12th, Entity in 13th, Callum in 14th, Waitsy in 15th, Tony all the way down 16th, and Casper in 17th. So the Haas guys at the back of the grid, that's a huge shock.
Yeah, and it just shows that you can't all go out at the same time because you're going to get traffic like that. And that's what costs a lot of the drivers. We saw that in Monza in real life, didn't we, for the drivers a few years ago. So that was a huge shame. And we know with both of our races, if you have a bad qualifying, it shows. So that really is going to be punishing for the drivers that are not going to be starting from where they would expect. But we have seen people go from near the back to near the front before. I think we did see Cowboy almost do it in our session, but unfortunately his race didn't go too well, unfortunately. But it's hard to tell, Jamie, on who the stands out of the session, because obviously due to the unpredictable weather nature of it. But I think the ones who timed it well, of course, Lukey and J. Carl, Mateo being consistent. I think one of the biggest losers got to be Tony after winning last week as well, as we're seeing quite a few people retiring from the dummy session, so hopefully we can get underway shortly. But who was your standout in this qualifying session, Jamie?
That's a hard one. I think I have to say J. Cole getting the front row is a good one for him. Obviously, J. Cole's a guy who's more known for being a good racer, but him starting the front row, that's huge for him. That's going to give him a great opportunity. Like in my race, I qualified third and managed to hang at the front all race. If J. Cole can hang on to that DRS train that's out of the race, then that could give him a huge result. So I think J. Cole's my standout for qualifying.
Yeah, I think so too. J. Cole, I feel like he's improving as the game goes on, and even though he said that he personally does not like the game, he is really starting to improve his pace on F124, and he's just getting used to it a little bit as well. So that will say, I agree, is one of the standouts too as well. I'll keep an eye on if he's posted a pre-race interview and see if he was hoping for the rain dance, because I will not be surprised if he was praying for the rain dance, because even his wet laps wasn't too shabby at all. I'm just trying to see if he has. Nope, he hasn't. So I will have to have a look at that in just a minute. And just like in our dummy race, there was a Red Bull out on top. So there we go. So we'll go through our sponsors in just a moment as well. Let's go through the standings, if I can find them, if I get the right screen up. Just a moment, because obviously we're going to have to wait till for Lukey, our tier coordinator, to change everything about and go through all the standings. So there we go. Let's go through the standings for you, because we didn't have a chance to go through it last time. So Matteo currently leading by 2 points over Callum in second, so 33 points to 31. Now we got Tony in second. Let me make that a bit bigger. There we go. You can see it better now. Ben in fourth, despite him losing out on the victory last time out. He had a very poor showing, actually. Finished 17th. Then we have Colin, who's in fifth on 18 points, joint with Casper. Then we have Atzelot on 15 points in seventh. Nick in with 10 points in 8th. Jaco in 9th with 8 points. And Lukey in 10th on 6 points. And we got Entity, Jake, Waitsy, Leroy, Larkin, and Cam on 2 points in 16th. Then we got Papa Squanch, Barrett, and Samster on 0 points. And due to his penalties, Konzo on -2 points. So those are your standings. We would go through the constructors, but we can't seem to find a way to go through the constructors, unfortunately. Hopefully there'll be a way to fix that. But Matteo being consistent, so is Callum, so is Tony. But Ben, despite missing out on points last week, he's still in fourth place in the championship. So that is still not too bad. But surely if he was here tonight, he would have definitely wanted to go out for the win. But he's not here tonight, so he's going to lose out quite a bit of points.
Yeah, I think in these sort of championships, you can maybe get away with maybe one no score, but 2 no scores, it's going to be very difficult to get away with. So you go on a streak of wins and you can get points back, but that's going to give him a huge mountain to climb when he comes back, hopefully next week in Baku. But obviously the sprint next week in Baku, so there's opportunity for more points. There's a possible 30 points on offer in Baku, so the 31 if you get a fast lap. But yeah, that'll give him opportunities next week. But yeah, he's going to be further down the standings when we go into Baku next week for sure.
We'll obviously go through the sprint format after this race, because we still got this race to do and still got plenty of action to cover as well. But yeah, it has changed ever so slightly. Less points on offer for the sprint as well. We got one-shot qualifying to start with. Then we got the sprint, and then we'll have a lobby restart, and then it will be the top 10 reverse. And then we will also apply any engine penalties or grid penalties. I have a feeling quite a few people will decide to take it at Baku. I'm starting to have second thoughts on whether I'm going to do the same, but I will have a think about it as well. But again, we will go through it properly next week for you as well. So I'm just trying to see who was called to the driver press conference. It was our championship leader that was called to the drivers press conference this week, and that was Matteo. So let me just find out that I don't believe he answered. Oh, yes, he did. So it said, welcome, you sit currently on top of the driver's standings after 2 races. It's clear you have consistent good pace, can be right up there for the title. Do you think before the start of the season you'll be there where you are now? And do you feel you'll be able to keep this up throughout? And he said, yeah, I feel like I need to keep this consistency and I can fight for the championship. I didn't think I would fight the championship in my first season. The Argentinian, of course, with Colapinto being full-time for the rest of the season in the real-life F1. Maybe a little bit of inspiration for Matteo there, but it shows that, like in the real-life F3 championship, you don't necessarily need to win a race to be in a chance of winning the championship. It's consistent podiums that put him up there. So brilliant stuff from Matteo so far.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I mean, we've had a champion one of in the past without a race win, so
Robert.
we had a champion just win one race. So yeah, you don't have to win every race. If you just consistently the podium's top 5 area, you'll be right up there for sure. So yeah, you don't have to win races. Obviously, it's nice to win races. It feels good to win races, but it's not a prerequisite to win the championship. Our point system allows drivers to be closer than the real F1. So yeah, if you keep getting podiums, you'll be up there.
Yeah, and I think that's why Callum is doing so well there too, up there in P2 in the championship too. Consistency does reward you a little bit as well in these races, so we'll see how they do as well. And it'll be interesting about the strategy as well. Now, we did a bit of racing just now on the P2 tier, and for both of us we found that the mediums do not last at all very long. I think it takes about 7 or 8 laps before it gives a bit of beating on the front left, and the softs only last a few laps as well. So if I were the drivers, do not use the softs at all unless there's a late safety car from lap 30 onwards, and do not use double medium stints unless you really have to. But there's some drivers that may want to try and get those 2 mediums work, and they may prefer it, but we'll have to wait and see. But most drivers in our tier, they went for the double hard strategy, and it worked well for some of them. I believe that the person who tried the double hard strategy won the race, so I think we could see something similar. No, it wasn't. Okay, never mind.
No, it was double medium, but yeah, them guys, the couple of guys, the top 3 had double medium. They did a good job managing. Obviously, safety cars did help, but yeah, we
had loads of safety cars.
The top 2 had a very long stint on mediums, and they did well to manage it at the end. So yeah, it is possible, but I think it's borderline the strategy. I think some of these guys in this team may see some gamblers on the 2 medium, but I think 2 hard is better. But obviously, you have to select it in this. You can only get either 2 medium or 2 hards. You have to select it in this screen drivers to get where you get tyre allocation as we're about to go, I think.
That was very, very quick, so well done to the drivers for getting into the lobby as quickly as they can, which is great news. So, and all 17 drivers are here ready to go, so that gives us a perfect chance to go through our sponsors. Next Level Racing, £2,000 worth of prizes. You can see the prizes on your screen at the moment. Any of our drivers get a chance to win one of those. We also got Pure Sim Gear. The driver with the most fastest laps and poles combined will win a pair of Pure Sim Gear gloves or socks. We also got our partners Vespertine that support our merch, and also got 2 prizes to win, one of which is the Race the Dream t-shirt if you win the Going Gets Tough award, and that is if you complete all your pre and post race interviews, attend all races, and finish outside the top 3. And you could also win a One Hub Racing t-shirt if you are the winner of One Hub Racing driver rankings. Of course, we've got our partners at SimGrid who power all our standings, and of course Mental Health Foundation. If you are struggling out there, it's good to talk. Do not suffer in silence, and you can get all the help and support you need because of lovely mental health charities we have out there. So we got our sponsors out of the way, we got our pre-race interviews out of the way about the rain, but we will go through, I think, some of the questions as the race starts to get into its rhythm a little bit as well. But I'm gonna put you on the spot there, Jamie. Who would you expect to win? Do you think Matteo could get his first win this season?
Well, it has to be the big favourite, guy that's been on the podium past 2 races. You saw how quick he was in Austria, so he has to be the big favourite. I think if it's a clean race, I think it gets off the line well, I think he will take the win.
That is not a bad shout at all. Of course, Lukey and Jake are maybe a bit out of place, but I'm still keeping my eye on the 2 Hatties to see if they can climb their way up through the field as well. Callum did not do too bad either, so I would expect him to climb up as many positions as well. I'm just keeping an eye on the P1 chat to see if we had the ready up call. They have been oh no, that was a few minutes ago. Okay, so I'm guessing they've been told to ready up now. Bearing in mind, we also got the 3-place grid penalty to be added to Konzo, so wherever he qualified, he will start 3 places lower, and everyone else around him will jump a few places because of it. And hopefully people remember their setup. So if you are watching and if you're in P1, don't do what I did and forget your setup. Please remember your setup. I do see on my screen Leroy on a set of the hard compound of tyres, but it might change. That is brave to start on the hard compound of tyres, actually. I know we have the formation up coming up, so we can talk about strategy anyway, but you got to start on the mediums around this track, because if you start on the hards, it takes a while for your tyres to warm up. I think it takes a few extra laps on those hards, so, but very brave for Leroy to do that if he wants to.
Yeah, it definitely is. There's So yeah, I did that last week in Monza, and it didn't work out for me because it was like an early safety car, so I was forced to stay out. So we'll be hoping just have a clean first stint, and obviously I get track position, but around here the undercut is very, very powerful, so he's got to be wary he pits at the right time.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see as the formation lap is on. So let's look at the tyre strategy as I disable telemetry and track data. There we go. So we've got a mixture of tyres. So we've got most people starting on mediums except the following 4 drivers. J. Carl and Lukey. I was kind of expecting those two to start on the soft because of them being out in position, and they want to make sure they can stay ahead of a lot of the drivers. I would expect both of them to go for the harder strategy and do 2 hard stints. Then we got Callum and Waitsy also on the soft tyres. I think the 2 Astons going for a similar strategy. But I guess this works if there's a safety car around about lap 22, because you could around about lap 25, because if you have some mediums left, you can go on a set of mediums, get to the end of the race, no problem, instead of having to go onto a set of hards. But everyone else that's not mentioned, unsurprisingly, is on a set of the mediums. We know with Matteo's pace, he can hold good pace even if everyone else around him is on soft tyres. But Jacob, Luke, you're going to hope that there's an early safety car, because we know, Jamie, from experience, that those softs do not last long.
Yeah, definitely. According to my screen, Bever's on the soft tyre as well. So yeah, I got 3 of the top 5 on the soft tyre. Yeah, you're going to go well. They'll pit early. You know Lukey likes to pit early. I know Lukey likes a cheeky undercut. So he'll be pitting around lap 4, lap 5, I think. Because them tyres, they go off quickly. Obviously, the overheating. It's more thermal degradation around there. The rear tyres like to overheat massively. As it's quite a quick formation. Bambatini's got a huge gap to everyone ahead of him. J. Cole is 2 corners behind. I don't know what's happened there, but Bumatino is gonna be on that grid for an extremely long time.
His tyres are going to be very, very cold, Jamie, and I think everyone else is probably going to go slower to counteract that. And even on this game, it takes a while for your tyres to warm up anyway. So I think the start is going to be very key for Matteo. It's a shame I can't see the tyre temperatures, but it doesn't look healthy at all for the Kick Sauber driver. So we'll see what he could do, of course. But 5 red lights are on here at the Hungary for round number 3 of the One Hub Racing Championship. Is a go. I don't know who's got a good start because the camera angle is absolutely awful. But Lukey has jumped all the top 3 in towards turn 1. But Jacob's going to try and take the outside line, but doesn't quite do so. So those softs are working very well for our top 2 right now, as we all got some trouble in the background as Collins dropped all the way down to the back of the grid. Heading towards turn 2 and 3 now. Lukey just about holding on to Jacob. Barron making his way through as well, so is Callum. And the 2 soft runners doing a very, very good job and keeping these drivers line astern. So Lukey had to get the start he needed, and he definitely handled it well. Brilliant start.
Yeah, Bumatino had no grip on the line now. He was actually fighting with axle lock into turn 2, and they had banged wheels actually. Larkin's had a great start up to 4th as well, so both the Alpines are up here strong. They're in a good position, but yeah, the Sauber had a terrible start there, and he was very lucky not to lose further places.
Yeah, he was very lucky. Of course, he's a fast driver, and I will expect the medium tyres to come a bit more to his liking in about a few laps' time during the crossover period, so watch out for that. And he's still keeping up with these guys as well, especially J. Cole. So it's crucial that he's going to stay within that DRS train, because we know how powerful it is on this game, as Lukey sets the fastest lap. But Atzog is going to try and get a move on Larkin. He's been looking very good on those medium tyres. He's going to try and go for the move into turn 1. Nope, he's not going to do so. They're all being very patient thus far on the opening couple of laps, but Atzlot, I can see, looking very good on the straight, as we do have another yellow flag. That is Leroy, has had a bit of a moment in turn 1. Luckily, just before he hit turn 2, luckily there was no safety car being called there, but I think he might have got a bit of damage because of that. But look at that top 3, Jamie. They're just pulling away from the rest of the field. 1 second.
They are. Yeah, Larkin sort of holding up. He's doing a job for his teammate here, holding up Axel in his home Grand Prix, but I think Larkin will want to stay in DRS because it'll make his job easier of holding their guys further back. I just think at the moment the soft guys have got the advantage, but you have to say, but Bumateo will take the lead very shortly, as these guys' tyres will die off in probably our next lap, I reckon. So yeah, they've got to pit at the right time. They cannot leave it a lap too late, unless they'll fall down the order rapidly. As I believe Larkin is out of DRS, so Axe will probably fancy taking his place into turn 1.
Yeah, that's a lot. I would expect to go for the move now, because DRS has been enabled a lap ago, and Matteo is already matching up to these top 2 already, so keep an eye on Matteo ASAP really. But Axelot trying to go for the lunge in towards turn number 1. He absolutely sends it, and that was beautiful. Up into the lead. He's got the DRS as well, and he's going to chase down the top 3 for podium position. He got robbed personally of a podium in Austria. He had very good pace actually, but unfortunately he did get a penalty, which did not help matters. Unfortunately, I did look on my notes. The tyre compound crossover between the softs and the mediums is around about lap 4. So in about a lap's time, Matteo is going to be the quickest out on circuit, but it might be a lap earlier than expected. I think it's around about now, the crossover period actually.
Yeah.
So it's a lap earlier than predicted. Matteo just been able to push a little bit more, whereas Lukey and Jake are a bit more conservative in terms of the tyre usage, but at least they've got a few more mediums to play with. Leroy had to go into the pit onto a set of hards, but that's not going to help his race at all. If he doesn't have another hards to his name, he's going to have to stretch these out for a very long time until the medium period. But I think Matteo is going to take the lead here in the next lap.
Yeah, definitely. It's the biggest win off the line was Callum up 3 places. Con's got his 3 places back from his grid penalties. And it's a big move as Bill Matteo, I think he's just biding his time. He knows he's got to get this done imminently, as Leroy's retired from the race, Cam's in the pits, and there's a safety car, so that helps Lukey, and J. Cole's taking the lead there. Wow, great opportunity for J. Cole. Lukey's lost 2 places in that, and Lukey will be absolutely kicking himself.
Oh, was it? Oh, it's a legal overtake. It was an illegal overtake.
Right, so Lukey got away with it there, because he was going to get overtaken by 2 cars.
Lukey,
and
why are you going wide?
Back.
Oh,
so, yeah.
He's been forced to get the position back. Now, what's happened there?
I think J. Cole was ahead when the safety car did come out. I wasn't sure if Matteo was.
I will have to look at the replay after this race. Unless someone
J. Cole's got a 10-second penalty for ignoring the yellow flag. Obviously, that J. Cole will have to serve that in the pit, so that has screwed his race over massively. Don't know what happened there, but that was weird.
That was very, very weird, I think, for J. Cole, because he was doing so well, and his race has come undone, unfortunately. But that's also helped Barrett and Callum too, and Waitsy, because they can go in and pit for a set. They could go onto hards, and then they've got a set of mediums or hards later on. They got more flex in terms of their strategy, so that's worked out quite a bit. But if you're on the mediums, a bit of a tough ask. I think if you only have 1 medium and 1 hard left, I would go on those 7 mediums now, stretch it out to around about 14, 15, and then try and go on the hards to the end of the race, because realistically it is a one-stop race. Has the top 3 unsurprisingly going to the pits. Larkin stays out, which I'm really surprised about.
Well,
usually if it's
think about it, Larkin, his teammate's got a 10-second penalty, so he'll be double sacked for a very long time, so he's going to have to go differently. Yeah, so it compromises both Alpine's races. This as Tony stays out. I'm not surprised by that. Get some track position for Tony out. I thought he would stay out personally, but yeah, Larkin was forced to stay out there unless he wanted to lose over 12 seconds in the pits.
Yeah, Larkin.
But he's going to lose time here anyway.
A lot of time, yeah. But Larkin may hope for a safety car. You never know. And he's got a bit more tyres to use up. So we've got Lukey, Matteo and Axelot on the hard. Berry's on the mediums. I think that's quite smart, because I don't think he has 2 more hards. So I think that's the right strategy for Berry. Nick's on hards. Konzo's on mediums. Konzo has gained quite a lot. Don't forget, he's had that engine penalty to serve. He's up 6 places, so that safety car has helped quite a bit despite that engine penalty. Not engine penalty, 3-place grid penalty due to impeding a few weeks ago. Casper's gained quite a few positions as well off the start. But biggest loser again, J. Cole, because he had to serve that 10-second penalty in the pit lane, and then Cam's lost quite a bit as well. So the safety car has now collected the leader, and it's only the top 2 that's come in. Lukey has got to get the restart of Dreams here, but he's done that for the start of the race, so surely he can do that towards the first restart of this race anyway. So let's see what... Oh, safety car's in, Jamie. All right, I was not expecting that.
Everyone's caught up, yeah. The only problem is, this might actually help, because obviously the tyres won't have lost too much temperature, because obviously they came out of the blankets in the pit lane, so the tyres might be alright for these guys. So yeah, it might help Lukey, because the hard tyres do take a long time to warm up normally. So I think these front two guys, might be able to stay ahead for a lap or so, but I think these fresh tyres will come into their own, and lap 6, lap 7 when DRS comes into play.
Yep. Here we come then. For the second time tonight, we're going to get this race underway. And Larkin is going to choose to probably go as late as he can. He doesn't want to give the toe to Tony, who's also stayed out. This could work well for Tony. Don't forget, it is a 2-stop race for those of you that are new to One Hub Racing. It is very, very late, actually, but Larkin has got away. Good restart for Matteo, actually. Not a good restart for Lukey. And Matteo is trying to attack from Lukey towards turn number 1, leaving a lot of space between these two. And up the hill they go. And Matteo now up into 3rd. So not a good restart for Lukey at all. His tyres are not warmed up, it seems, by the way that he is driving, because Axelot and Barrett are right on at the back of them. Don't forget, Barrett, I believe, is on the medium tyre, so we expect him to be quick anyway. So Larkin and Tony got away well, and so did Matteo. Lukey, unfortunately, Lukey's got a 3-second penalty as well.
Quite early in the race,
due to that.
Yeah,
that is so early in the race, so he must have got it, these warnings earlier on in the race as well. But Matteo looks like his first victory is looking ever closer, as he's still in the net race lead.
Yeah, Papa squanched at the moment in the chicane, and about 4 or 5 cars have passed him, and now he's finally got together. The only problem is when you have a moment in this mid-sector, you lose so much momentum, you can lose so many places, and that's a shame because he was having a good race, but now he's dropped almost the back of the field. And yeah, that was crucial for Matteo to get that move done, because I believe he is probably the quickest driver in terms of tyres at the moment. So you have to get that move done, and now look how much Harry needs front two, and I think Tony has to go for it. Yes, he has to pass Larkin here.
Yeah, but he has to. He has to get past Larkin, because otherwise he's going to be in a spot of bother. As we've got quite a few action happening in the midfield as well. Casper on those soft tyres is eking up some time, and he's already up into 8th place, as Konzo is struggling quite a bit on those tyres as he's defending from J. Cole. J. Cole side by side, around the outside they go towards turn 2 and 3. Can he keep his line? Up the hill they go into the sector 1 split. Nicely done from J. Cole. Konzo is losing quite a bit of time to the rest of the field, unfortunately, so he's almost where he started, unfortunately. But I have to say, fair play to Larkin and Tony. It just shows how hard it is to overtake. In my notes, I have written it for a reason. It is like Monaco without the barriers, and it definitely is. It's just so tricky to overtake. Yes, turn 10 and 11 could be a good place to overtake, and the start-finish straight. And that's pretty much it, but there could be very brave movements as Lukey trying to go side by side, as I was saying that, in towards turn 11. And, Axelot's had a bit of a spin.
Yeah, he's at the moment there. He's dropped 4th, he's dropped 6 places. He was fighting Lukey. I wonder if they banged wheels or something, but yeah, he's dropped a lot of places there. And I think Tony now is going to go for the lead here. These guys are all pushing each other. Look how close these top 4 are.
Those top 4 are just almighty good on pace, as we got Matteo around the outside of Lark. A bit of a lock-up as well. He could get the lead from both drivers, but Tony saying, nope, I'm having none of that, sunshine, as they make their way towards turn number 2 and 3. Bit of a lock-up, bit of contact. If I was Lukey, I would just play it safe, as Lukey's had a bit of an off, and so is Larkin. He's had a spin as well. Will that cause a safety car? I don't know. It was hard to catch the angle of it.
He's got back running again.
Yeah, they got back running again, but Lukey's lost a bit of time. What a shame for him. The dirty air has not helped him one bit. He's going to be very frustrated with that. But the one that's benefited is Berry. He is now a net P2, but Nick is looking very racy on those hard tyres. The hard tyres must be feeling good for him. That's why he's chosen it. But we know that those mediums are going to take a beating on the front left, as I was saying earlier. Nick will probably think that those hards will come to him very, very soon, but he knows he's got to get past Matteo, as Axelot is... What a shame for Axelot and Larkin for both spinning there in the last few laps. Larkin did it well, bless him, to hold on to the lead, but after 7 laps, the mediums was just not there.
Yeah, the problem with these high wings, the DRS is so powerful with the high wings because you drop so much drag. He was defenseless there. He couldn't really do anything about it. We got two Kaganis there, on the outside. He did well. I think he just dropped it. I think he maybe was a bit too greedy on the throttle. I think that's what made him spin around. But I don't think he's got any damage. He's back underway again. Obviously, the only problem is he's a pit stop behind everybody, and he's 7 seconds off the pack, so he needs a safety car immediately, I think. But yeah, as Berra is all over the back of Tony now, so Berra's got some good pace so far. Obviously, he's got fresher tyres, but yeah, Berra's looking good, and Nick is just about hanging on to these guys. And Casper and them softs, fair play to him. They are still going, but they'll be going off pretty soon. And I think J. Cole and Lukey, we fancy. J. Cole's made some good progress through the field after his unlucky moment with the 10-second penalty.
Yeah, but he's not actually doing that bad, considering he's probably where I would expect him to be as well. So. And he's already caught up to the back of Lukey, so, you know...
There was a car off there.
And there's a car off.
The car was off there. I believe that was Berra at the moment, and he's lost a place. He's lost 2 places. He's off the track now, so Berra's going to lose 3 or 5 places in 2 corners, I think. Is he? Lukey's around the outside. But Berra may have the better traction. No, Lukey does, and Jason go for it here. So Berra's gone from 3rd to 7th in a sector.
He was a net P2 as well. He was a net P2 and now he's not. And because he must be struggling on those mediums, that must not be working for him. And by the way, we got Matteo, Nick and Casper who's definitely benefited from this. And Casper's going to be very annoyed that I haven't caught much of his overtakes. But that's because there was so much going on for the lead. But Casper is not doing too bad on those soft tyres. We know it's going to go very quickly. But if he can hold this up just a little bit, then this could work wonders for him. He's got to defend for his life, be like a Daniel Ricciardo, where he defends for his life. Fernando Alonso, we saw fighting with Lewis Hamilton for quite a bit of the 2021 Grand Prix, which was very, very exciting to watch, believe it or not. It was fantastic. And we saw Casper hit a little bit of that bump in that chicane there as well. So Matteo leading 2.7 seconds over Nick in P2. He is a net P2. Nick's doing very well on those hard tyres. Not going to say too much more about the top guys, because if I do, I always get annoyed that I jinx them. I think pretty much everyone that's in the top 3 tonight, unless your name is Matteo. So I will shut up a little bit as well. As Lukey's got to get past soon. He knows that those tyres are gone now. Surely his Mark or whoever's engineering him in the chat must be thinking, right, you've got to get past soon. So Lukey's going to use a bit of his overtake. I can see him using it now on the dashboard. In towards turn number 1, you can see Casper's derating on the straight too. A bit of a lock-up from Casper too. Oh, he's made a bit of contact between the two, but I think it was just rubbing wheels, so no problems there. Casper to the inside of turn number 2 and 3. As I think Lukey is going to get P2. I don't think there was any fighting from Casper there. So Lukey is back up to where he pretty much started this race in 3rd place. And I think Lukey's probably going to be not too frustrated for himself, because Matteo has got a penalty too.
Yeah, he's got to try and keep it to 3 seconds. That's what he's got to do. Yeah, that was good racing there. Casper was struggling over the curbs that last lap, and I believe he'll be in. I think Casper has to pit this lap really, because Tony's in. So Tony's in a lap ago, so Tony's got some clear air, go for an undercut. So I expect when these guys pit again, I expect Tony to be in the lead, but obviously he'll be on not as good tyres. So yeah, Tony's going for he's pulling the trigger now. Any of these guys.
J. Cole on Casper. J. Cole to the inside of 10, 11 and 12. And yet, though, those softs are dying. But what would you do if you were Casper? Surely the only option will be to go on hards until the end of the race.
Yeah, but the only problem is, it's a long way to go, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's the only problem. It's such a long way to go. You've got to try and hang on. If you can stay in DRS... If you can stay in DRS, it can work for you, but as long as you use DRS, I found out in my race, you basically toast. So the DRS can drag you along, but I think he's going to struggle saying DRS J. Cole now. With Berra and Conzo having a good scrap here into turn 2. Conzo going to go around the outside. Berra is trying to fight it. Berra is struggling at the moment. I believe his pace has gone for some reason. Conzo's going to get it done. They're still side by side, but Berra's got the inside. Will Conzo brave it on the outside? I believe he will. They're still banging wheels, and there's a spinner there for Berra, and that was a bit messy.
And Conzo made contact, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And Conzo is already on minus points in the championship due to some more incidents. So if they keep having incidents like that, he's going to be on more minus points, unfortunately, if they remember to record a little bit as well. So Matteo knows he's got that penalty, so that's helping him and doing him wonders so far. And I think the window to come into the pit lane would be around about lap 21.20 for another set of the hard tyres for the likes of the top three. I wonder if Matteo's got some set of hard tyres on him. I hope he does, because he can keep going with that pace. The order at the moment is Matteo in first, Nick in second, Lukey in third, despite that penalty, Jaco in fourth. To be honest, Jamie, I do not know why he's still in fourth, because he had that 10 seconds. So it shows that he's a really quick racer around here. As Axelot makes his way in towards turn 1, and he gets past Konzo up into 6th place as Tony set the fastest lap of the race so far. This is a good race strategically, and don't forget, Cam is on those hard tyres. He could get to the end of the race, but I think it's going to be very, very risky. He can get. He's done his 2 stops. He doesn't have to do any more. Everyone else only has to do 1 tyre. Everyone has found their rhythm now, and unless you're the likes of Lukey chasing down Nick. The 2 out of the 3 owners of One Hub Racing fighting against each other on one track. I wonder how well that's going to go, Jamie.
Well, if I'm Nick, I'm not going to be. If I'm Nick, obviously you want to stay ahead, but if Lukey sends out the inside, I'm not going to fight it too much, because Lukey's got a penalty. And if you get a penalty on lap 6, I think it's a fairly decent chance you get another one. So we know Nick likes to race hard though, and these two have got a nice gap to Draco and Casper. They're actually in a really good position. Casper does finally eventually pit, and he's done quite well to hold on to 5th, to be fair. But yeah, I think Nick will want to stay ahead, but we know these two like to fight
while they're
hard.
DRSing each other to make sure no one else stays ahead.
Yeah, exactly.
It could be work, because they are in a party. They are in a Discord chat with each other. I think 2 of the Aston Martins, 2 of the Mercedes are in a Discord chat as well. So they know what they're doing, of course. So it's kind of like, not a multi-21 situation, but it's like engine manufacturers helping out another one for the same manufacturer, pretty much. But they all have equal pace, so we'll see what they can do. J. Cole the same. Axelot's not that far behind too, so we'll keep an eye on him. Colin not doing too bad. I'm a bit shocked that Callum is all the way down in 9th. Of course, he got caught up earlier. Entity as well could have gone higher too. Yeah, I'm just shocked that Callum is not gaining the way he would have liked right now, down in 9th spot. And Casper's got a 3-second penalty. And speaking about Casper, he's already done his 2 stops. He can get to the end, but it's going to be a bit of a push to get those hard tyres through. But never say never for Casper. He's always good with his tyres.
Let's not forget with Callum though, he was the second RB in the first 2 laps, and he did have to probably wait a bit in the pits. So the second drivers in these teams did get screwed a bit all about safety cars, had to wait in the pits, wait to see. He's about to take 10th off Callum, but yeah, Callum, he hasn't really got the pace I thought he would. I wonder if he's carrying some sort of damage from an incident, but he's really struggling. He's got a Ferrari round, that is Konzo. Konzo's had to spin there, and he's got all the way to the back of the field. I didn't see what was the cause of the spin, but I assume if you spin
no, he's not beached. He's good. I was worried that he was beached.
Lost his wing as well.
I was worried that he was going to get beached there, but luckily he didn't, and luckily no safety car. So yeah, there was a bit of contact there, and he lost a bit of control, unfortunately. There was people, I think, if you were Jaco or Barry, you would hope for a safety car. It's Nick spun! How on earth did he save that?
I don't know, but we had a moment there as the ghost of Alpine went through there. But yeah, that's a shame for him. But he's still in 5th place. The problem is you've got to watch out for these. After the spin, the tyres overheat massively. So these tyres will probably gone, to be fair. It's going to be difficult to get them temperature back down at a track like Hungary.
That was probably the biggest save I've seen in a while, because if that was me, I probably would have been in the wall. So fair play, Nick, for saving that. But that was a loss of P2 there, unfortunately. But he's still got a long way to go at this race. He cannot give up. And we got 2 of the Mercedes. And you could see that I think the tyre deg on Nick's compared to Entity is not helping whatsoever. So he's going to try and get past Entity in towards turn number 2. Round the outside. Enough space as Casper gets the fastest lap. And Entity defending very well. Much cleaner racing from Entity today. Unlike what we saw last week where he got so many time penalties. But much cleaner this week. He's just keeping it calm, keeping it collected so far. But yeah, our top 3 is now changed. And I think at the moment it's going to be Mateo in P1 and Jaco in P2. Of course, Jaco got driver of the day last week where he did very well in 6th. He could be a contender for driver of the day by getting a podium, which will be very, very impressive. But we've still got not quite halfway through this race to go. I think in about 18, 19 laps we will have half of this race to go.
Yeah, it's always Bever's dropped down the field. London, it was Bever and Conzo at the moment. Bever's dropped down at 13th.
Yeah.
And Tony's 20 seconds off the lead. So Tony will, when Mateo pits, Tony will take over lead, I believe, but he will be on the old tyres. So don't count out Tony just yet, I say. He's still a factor in this race.
Yeah, I think Tony is still going to be a factor in this race. He's on 6-lap-old hards, and 6-lap-old hards versus 12-lap-old hards. Big difference. And it's about a 4.5 second gap, but it can close up quite quickly. And we know that the ones on the hards now will have to stretch just a little bit more. So, game on for Tony. Does he have to stop again? Yes, he does. Yeah. So, he will have to stop again anyway, but don't count him out for a possible podium winning this race as well. That's the beauty about this 2-stop system that we have at One Hub Racing. Even if you have a little bit of a moment earlier on or have a bad qualifying, your race is not over until it's over. So we'll keep an eye on Tony's pace as the race goes on. We would expect to see the ones, most people who have chosen the harder option go on to another set of the hards in a few laps time, and then that will be their 2-stop complete, or we will see a few people stretching out those hards for a little bit longer, paying out for a safety car. So I think Lukey obviously started on the soft, so he's still got a set of the means to use if he wants to. And Jaco is coming in through the pits. Now, Jaco, I think he started on the mediums as well, if I'm not too mistaken. Yeah. So he's going to go onto the hards. He has no other option.
You can get into the end of here, definitely, but you get a nice undercut, but the last few laps may be a bit difficult. There's a bit of a hole in the pit lane there for some reason. No, it was just a grain glitch, I believe. I believe that was a good time for the pits. I think Axe was about to overtake him there, so that was a good time for him to pit, get some clear air, and pump him some good lap times.
I think if you're stuck in traffic and you got another set of hards left, I would pit if I were you. I think if I was Colin or Nick, I would jump into the pits now. Yeah. But because otherwise you're going to be held up by like Venti. I think Scorpion will potentially do the same. I think the right time to come in if you still got another set of hards is now. And Jaco, will that come and help him towards the end of the race? If a safety car comes now, that will not help him at all. So he's going to hope that it's not going to happen. So we'll see what the top two do. Is Mateo going to come in? He stays out. Lukey stays out as well. Axlock stays out. So do both of the Mercedes. So everyone from the top 8 is still on the track right now. So they're not responding to J. Cole's undercut. So they think it's too early to go into a set of the hard tyres. Or maybe they only got mediums left and they have to stretch it out a bit longer. But we'll see. The interesting thing about the weather system, it means the track temperatures could play an interesting factor towards the end of this one, and the fuel.
Yeah, because obviously if you get a bit more sunshine at the end, then track temperature will go up. That'll make these minor tyres a bit more difficult, but they run hard tyres and less fuel. That'll make it easier, so it might balance itself out a little bit as Tony now has caught up to the back of the pack now, so his progress may be hampered a little bit here as he's going to be in traffic for a little bit, so this may be a good opportunity for the leaders to maybe stretch the gap a little bit again.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will be stretching out these hards for a bit longer to go on to the means about lap 25, 26. So Mateo, well, he can pit where he wants and he can come in. So I think he's going to stretch out for a little bit more. DOS train is starting to form a little bit with a few lockups from a few people, but it might just be being in the game at the moment. Still people staying out. We'll keep an eye on their batteries as well. So I had the telemetry on enabled as Waitsy has still got quite a bit of battery. Papa Squanch into the pit lane. So has Callum actually. Tony's thinking about it, no, but he's got quite a few cars under pressure with him as well, as Cam is not looking too shabby. So we'll see what Papa and Callum can do on those fresh tyres. So what is Callum going to go on? Mediums. Wow. Okay, so he's risking it. Papa.
the wing as well, so that explains the lack of pace. He had wing damage, so that's why he was struggling for pace, because
Right.
he's changed his wing. So
he's changed his wing, and Papa has gone on to serve hards, which we'll get to the end from here.
Yeah, Papa's having a solid race, I'd say. He's solidly in the top 10. He's having that moment earlier, but it's covered well from it. And yeah, as Tony actually passed Cam in the first hairpin at the end in sector 3, Cam went a little bit wide and Tony sneaked through. So yeah, Tony made his first overtake, and them two guys pitting helps him out a lot. Now, what are these leaders going to do? Is we've got a very close battle for third place, and you see Nick's could well from this spin. He's got his pace back, and
he can still get third.
Yeah, he's still in the podium fight for sure, especially with Lukey's penalty. And these guys going to pit. Collins in the pits, so we've seen Collins struggle with tyre wear a bit in practice. So I'm not surprised he's in early. He's going to try maybe do something a bit different.
Yeah, so undercut. And Wade's in as
well.
Both
the Astons are in.
Both Aston Martins are in. Oh, is that the right decision? I think they're going for a double stack here. We'll see if that's worked. I think that's not too bad. They're only going to lose a second.
No,
that's pretty good from the Aston team.
Yeah, that's better than staying out for next lap. That's definitely, you get him on the second undercut, so that's probably a good idea for Waitsy there.
That is a good idea.
Leave Papa Squanch will probably stay ahead of him. Don't be tight. Yeah, Papa Squanch has got ahead, but them two will fight till the end, I believe.
Fight to the very end, I think, and Waitsy's going to be on the fresher rubber, so I think the tide will come to Waitsy. He got ahead of Callum as well, so obviously Callum with that damage has not helped him one bit. Of course, Nick staying out. Will that hinder? Or I think the gap between Nick and Colin was so small that they couldn't double stat, and they would lose more time with a double stat. Whereas with the Astons, they were a little bit further behind each other on track, so that would help them a bit more. So interesting strategies. So we're on lap 21, pretty much halfway into this race. I'm surprised Atslot hasn't come in yet, but he's going to come in now. Entity follows suit. Nick too. Tony, is he going to think about it? No, but he's not. Tony stayed out. So we'll keep an eye on Entity, because I know what Scorpion and Nick's going to do, but we'll keep an eye on Entity. I see hards for Nick. I see hards for Scorpion. Hards for Entity. So Entity has also gone for the harder strategy, Jamie.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I think it is the safer tie. He can get memes to the end, but it does take a lot of motion. And interesting enough, Jake Hall has undercut all these guys. He went in 3 laps earlier and he's undercut everybody. So Jake Hall, yeah, he might struggle at the end, but he's got track position and Lukey's right on him. So Jake Hall is he's back in his podium fight amazingly despite having a 10-second penalty. That is incredible.
That is insane, not gonna lie. I got an answer to say that he's definitely on my drive of the day at the moment. I have no question about that. And unless something changes my mind, let's just hope he doesn't bin it or anything. But yeah, like I said earlier on in the stream, he's definitely getting used to this game a bit more. And with the pace cap in this tier as well, we've had more closer racing, which allows for more drivers to have a chance on getting a podium too, which is always very nice to see in the P1 tier at One Hub Racing. So yeah, brilliant from Jaco, and he's chasing down Cam, who's been on those sides for 17 laps. He's going to hope to win on pretty much almost been on the tyre for almost the whole race, but that's not going to work with Jaco and Lukey catching up. Lukey getting the fastest lap so far, and Lukey's going to have the fresher rubber, but he does have that 3-second penalty, so he's going to pull that gap, and it's going to be an interesting fight between... Oh, it's Mateo's got another penalty.
Yeah.
Mateo's got another penalty.
Now.
So that's advantage Jaco at the moment.
Yeah, because at the moment, I think if Mateo pits now, it's going to be very tight for J. Cole and Lukey. They might even get Eddie. If I was Mateo, I'd pit this lap and stick a mediums on. I believe he must have mediums left if it's going this long.
They can do it but I think it'll be around 40-50% the mediums on the left. But at least it won't be punctured. So I would take that risk if I were you. Lukey's was struggling a little bit on that chicane. He lost a bit of time there, but he's able to gain it a bit. Around that at the end of the chicane, but I could see he just touched the curve a bit too much.
Yeah, Mateo's in. I'll see what tyres he goes on to.
Mediums, I'm guessing. If he's on hards, that's just too early. No, too late.
Tony will take over the lead. He's going to stay out for another lap. So Tony will lead his first lap of the race as Mateo is going to come in the pits right in the garage to start the team, and it is mediums. Yeah, and well, would he get ahead of J. Cole and Lukey? These guys are fighting, which I think may help him stay ahead.
We'll see then. I think Matteo's going to stay ahead. Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
I think the older tyres from Cam did not help the likes of Lukey and J. Cole there. So the gap now is 1 second. But don't forget J. Cole's on the warmer tyres, so he's able to close in just a little bit. And as long as he can stay within that 6 seconds, it should be golden for... So he's got to basically pretty much increase to 6 seconds or more, and then he would win this race, Matteo. So let's see if he can do that, of course. That just leaves our top two, and Cam and Larkin, I believe, yet to pit. Let me check. I know Cam will need to pit again. I know he said he's done 2 stops, but he needs to pit again. Larkin needs to pit again, and so is Tony. Everyone else has done at least 2 stops so they can get to the end fine. Casper, I know, will try and eke those tyres till the very end of the race. So we'll see what he can do there. How many penalties he got at the moment? He has got 3 seconds. So he's fine, but Matteo is catching up like no tomorrow. So
Tony's in.
Yeah, Tony is in at the pit lane. He's going to go on to send mediums, I presume. This is a lot cleaner than what we saw in P2, I presume.
Yeah, it's good racing as Matteo. It's easy pass for me on 1 lap old means compared to 11 lap old hards. It really is 0 contest, and he's through, and he'll be looking to put gap because J. Cole's very close to DRS, and J. Cole can stay DRS to Matteo. That'll make his job a hell of a lot easier. I believe if Matteo breaks the DRS, J. Cole may struggle to keep up for the first few laps of the stint.
Yeah, DRS is key. We've seen a few people talk about it in their pre-race interviews last week. As you can see, Matteo is pulling up all the stops. He cannot afford to make any mistakes so far in this one. And with everyone now doing their 2 stops apart from Larkin, it is game on until the finish. Let us know your predictions in the chat on who you think is going to be winning this one. It could go either way, to be honest, but Casper's losing all that time to Matteo. That's going to help Matteo out even more. So J. Cole has just got to make the move ASAP. He's got to be very, very brave. He's going to hope he doesn't have any warnings up his back pocket, because otherwise he could be in a bit of trouble there. We know that Casper's going to try and get those tyres to the end of this Grand Prix. So here comes J. Cole as Matteo hit the fastest lap of the race on those mediums. So J. Cole passes Casper. Easy done it before the braking zone. Lukey trying to do the same in towards turn number 1. And no contest there for Lukey and J. Cole. So Lukey and J. Cole on the same amount of penalties. So they're fighting for a podium right now. They're fighting for P2 of this one. And we've got 10 laps to go of this race. And we'll see what they could do. And don't forget, there's still plenty of time for other drivers who are outside of this battle to come back into this as well. I'm keeping an eye on Lukey's ERS and J. Cole's ERS. They're around about the same, so they're both managing their ERS well.
Yeah, I've just been watching Cam, who was in 5th place at the start of the lap, and 3 cars passed him in the DRS section. So yeah, Cam is definitely struggling. He's doing a good job. I'm impressed by how he's keeping on track, but I think it's definitely the right time to pit. Larkin gets a penalty. He's the 4th driver to get that track limit penalty. Let's say the driver's been well ahead of penalties. Not many penalties been given around. I thought it'd be more around the nature of his track.
And there we go, we got another one, Jamie.
Penalty, obviously. Not having a good race, Callum, he's struggling. I think that wind damage really affected him, and now Colin will surely pass Cam here. I think Cam, I don't know how them tyres are still well.
How they survived? Oh, he's squabbling.
Difficult.
He's had a squirm in towards the final corner, and look at that traction that Colin's got as well. So yeah, he's going to get past, and Cam's not fighting it.
No. Yeah, so at the moment J. Cole is on to win this race by 3 seconds, but
no offense, I think Matteo's going to get this one.
Yeah, I think he's rapid. He's pulling a massive gap, and he just has to avoid another penalty. That's the thing. He just has to avoid another penalty. And one thing he doesn't want is a safety car.
Yeah, because if there's a safety car, J. Cole's got this win in the bag, and
yeah,
that's a lot. So. And we had 3 safety cars, but luckily there were no safety cars towards the end of the race this time. So, because that's usually where all the drama happens.
Yeah.
So please, guys, keep it clean.
Yeah, they get a bit over-aggressive, definitely, on them late safety cars.
Yeah, it always happens in any league I'm in. Like, any driver that's near the front wants to be aggressive. Because, of course, they're fighting for the win. They're on the fresher rubber, and it gets to that 30. You go on the set of softs as well. And you can see everyone just sort of bunched up. It's going to be crazy that happened. So here comes Lukey then. I think they've got to work together to have the DRS to gain some time on Matteo. J. Cole's almost had a bit of a moment, but no harm done. But if I were you, just do a switcheroo so J. Cole can get some DRS as well next lap. But
yeah, they've got to do it in the pit straight. Do it in the corner. You both lose time. You're both on compromised lines. So yeah, they do that. They've got to do it on the pit straight, ideally. Yeah, there's one guy turn his battery off, and the other guy just put a bit of overtake on, and that's how you do it.
Yeah, and that's how you get to gain the time as well. So make sure that happens. Casper's still in that train, by the way, despite him being on 14 lap old hards. He could be a good contender for driver of the day as well. There's just so many contenders for this as well. I wish we could just pick 3, but unfortunately we can't pick 3. We can only pick 2. But you can see the dirty air is not helping Lukey right now as well. A bit of a lock up from J. Cole there as we're approaching lap 29 and 35. The Gat eating out. They can't afford to squabble, Jamie, because otherwise Mateo's got this one in the bag.
Definitely, they've got to just work together, work solidly, and obviously J. Cole. I think J. Cole's got a podium pretty much guaranteed, but the race win may be going at the bag here as Tony's all over the back of Cam. This has been easy overtaking to turn 1.
Yeah, I think Tony was fighting for the win last week. Well, she's not going to get it. Condo's at the moment. In turn 10, I think it was. Or just the exit turn 9, I think it looked like on the mini-map. But yeah, Konzo has not had the race of dreams. Unfortunately, he's now back in last place out of the finishers. So, of course, we've had one retirement of Leroy near the back of the grid. So that is, unfortunately, Konzo, unless a miracle happens and if there's a safety car, which probably won't happen, he's probably praying for a safety car, but he almost just caused one. Yellow flag, we might get one here. No, okay. Cam's at a moment. Phew, I had a panic there.
He definitely have to pit. Cam will definitely have to pit, because I mean, he's had a moment, he hit the wall, knocked a bit with his wing off, so yeah, Cam will definitely have to pit. As Papa Squanch has gotten by Waitsy. I believe Waitsy had a bit of a moment there. So yeah, Papa Squanch up into 10th place.
Papa up into 10th place. I have to say, pretty decent race for Papa. Hardly made any mistakes, and yeah, he could have pitted like earlier sometimes during the race, and he's not as fast as other drivers, but he's pretty decent in this tier so far, and he's improving race after race. So well done to Papa. I'm very, very impressed. More the Papa that we know and love as Axelot gets past Entity towards turn number 1. Nicely done from Axelot. I don't know if he's going to get a I think I'm just trying to look at gap to. I think Axelot could sneak either P4 or even P3 here, but it's going to be very, very close. So watch out. He's definitely going to get, as Casper and Lukey had a bit of a moment. Was that Lukey that had a bit of a moment? I think it did. Yeah, because he lost a bit of time to Casper now. So that's a podium loss for Lukey, unfortunately.
So we've got Callum and Cam racing out the pit lane. They've all come in the pits. Callum for some fresh soft tyres, and he's going to get this easily done. Cam's only got used mediums left, and that is a easy move there for Callum. Maybe fancying maybe a point, maybe a fastest lap attempt there. But yeah, it was. I'd say impressed by Casper hanging on here. He's actually sort of. These guys are starting to catch slowly, but not by a great deal.
Casper's only on 3 seconds, so we could gap to leader. No, he's nowhere near Mateo to get anything. Never mind. And I think it helped that Lukey had a bit of a moment for Casper as well, and we know how good those hard tyres are around Hungary, and I think Casper's proving it right now. And I think with Lukey and Axelot having that moment with a flat spot in their tyres, that's not helped Lukey at all. And both of them just going to keep squabbling, and Casper's going to be like, if you keep doing that, I can keep that podium, thank you very much, at least on the track, as Casper almost had a moment coming out of 6, of 4 even. But luckily he's able to keep it together. This is going to be an interesting fight between the 3 of them come the end of the race. Bit of a bump from the house driver again.
Speaking of turn 4, Casper, Axel did the move on Lukey into turn 4 up the hill, so good move there by Axel, and he's up to 4th, and Lukey's struggling. I wonder if Lukey's tyres are going off a bit, and interesting, look at this gap at lead, and I think Bummertails, he's lost a bit of pace. He's not as quick as he was, and the gap isn't as creased as much as it was, so I think this may be very tight for the win. I think Mateo may just do it, but it's going to be a lot closer than what we thought.
I think
so
the
keep an eye
time
on
at the
that.
crossover point, I'm just going to look at my notes quickly to see when the crossover point is between the mediums and the hards. 10 laps. So in 2 laps...
He's going to go for 3rd place here. Sorry to interrupt. No, he backs out of it.
Yeah, so he does back out a bit. So in 2 laps' time, Jamie, the hards will be faster than the mediums.
Yeah, I've had a look at his lap times on the race director, and yeah, he's definitely struggling. He's definitely not as quick as he was, and J. Cole's just got to try and find an extra 10th or 2 if he can. That's what he's got to do.
Oh,
he had a big slide there, and that's not going to help. He had a huge slide that lost him 3 tenths.
I think it's the pressure, Jamie, and of course the tyre is just not working at his window, and he's just trying to be, I think, too aggressive, and that's definitely another warning now.
The possibility of the win. Yeah, I believe he hasn't won since, I believe, in Qatar. So, and that race
that was ages ago.
Yeah, he's desperate for this.
And what helped was because not many people raced around this track. J. Cole was practicing a lot, you see, so he was going all. And what the thing I notice about J. Cole is J. Cole loves high downforce tracks. Wherever we go to a high downforce circuit, J. Cole does well. So I'm not really that surprised to see him doing brilliantly. Let me look at his results from last season. Bearing in mind it was a higher caliber of drivers, but we'll see where he was in relation to the drivers that are still in this tier.
Axel Locke has got 3rd place, I believe. Yeah, he's got it on the Nexus. So Axel's in the podium place for definite now. So, as he got a spinner, that is Entity. Entity's put it in the wall. There'll be no safety car. It's too late for that, as Cam's got a penalty. Entity's in the wall. Has he lost his wing? Yes, he has. That's a shame, because Entity was having a good race.
He was. It was probably the cleanest race I've seen all season from Entity. Because obviously you learn from your mistakes as well. So of course, obviously the high downforce tracks we had last season was the Netherlands, France. Like I would say, kind of like a medium high downforce track.
Yeah.
I think as well. So that
the
was
last sector's definitely high downforce there. Yeah.
So that'll be. I'm just trying to see where he finished there. So he finished 4th around Zandvoort, which is a similar characteristics. A high caliber grid, obviously I think we might have had his late safety car, but still he was able to finish quite well against the drivers that you would expect to be in this tier. So I'm not really that surprised. And we're about to start the penultimate. We are on the penultimate lap.
Nick's just past Lukey. Sorry to interrupt. Nick's just past Lukey in that hairpin into sector 3 is a good popular overtaking spot today. A lot of drivers gone for me, and I believe J. Cole is actually gaining now. So I believe Mateo's tyres are dying off. So unless J. Cole makes a massive mistake, I believe he could win this race.
I did say, in my mind, I think. Oh, and
that's for definite now. And you know what, Axellock, he may get second here. There's a chance if Axellock, if he can push, he can possibly get second. It's going to be tight. I think Mateo may just hold on for second, but that is very tight for second. So J. Cole, even if he gets a penalty now, I think he'll still win.
Yeah, he'll still win. So he could get a penalty if he wants to as well. But J. Cole, don't get a penalty, please.
No.
Don't get a penalty, J. Cole. The fact that he's still going to win this race, even with a 10-second penalty, is huge. Absolutely huge. Even though I think, realistically in real life, you shouldn't serve 10-second penalties under safety car. But that's the game, and J. Cole took advantage of it. We're about to start the final lap of this race. I doubt Axelot's going to get P2 here, but we'll have to wait and... Actually, no, he might, as we've got a battle for P4 on track with the likes of Casper, Nick and Tony, as Casper defending from Nick. We also got Colin and Lukey fighting in the background. I think that's what we were seeing. So they're all going guns a-blazing here. Here comes up the inside, goes Nick. Beautiful stuff. And it's going to be another good result for him. Shame it could have been a podium, but... Actually, it might be. But we don't know what the penalty situation is going to be like. So if I was Nick, I'll try and close in on Axelot as soon as you can, because the podium could be in sight for the Mercedes driver. But let's keep an eye on Matteo. I think we know that this race is over him. When's it going to take for Matteo to win? He's been looking like the quickest of the entire tier, and he still hasn't won a race. That is just... I felt like the penalties just cost him. Without those penalties, he could have won his race, and he was on the wrong strategy. If he did the same strategy as Jaco and Axel and Nick, he would have won this race on track. So here comes Matteo. He is going to win on track, but not due to penalties, unfortunately. But it is Jaco that takes his first win of the season, his first win since F1 23. I believe Qatar was his last win, but I'll need to double check that. Well done to him. Axelot gets second. Matteo just about holds on to third on the road, which is great to see. So well done to our top three. Nick in fourth, Tony in fifth. Good recovery from him, actually. Colin in sixth, and Casper and Lukey in seventh and eighth. Papa Squanch gets his best result in ninth, and Callum, you're top 10. But Jaco, brilliant result for him. Great qualifying, and you were saying earlier, Jamie, if you have a good qualifying, you're more than likely going to have a good race, and he definitely delivered that.
Yeah, but let's not forget he was put back into like 12th place after that safety car period with that 10-second penalty, which I'm not sure what was the cause of it, but yeah, so he had to do it the hard way.
Yellow flag because of that,
and it was
that
so
squabble.
Impressive. The way he managed the medium tyres in the middle stint as well, he made some good moves on them, and that was critical for his race, and that was impressive. And but one thing I'd say, I think Nick would be absolutely kicking himself. He could have
got that podium.
He could have even won that race at that spin, I think. He lost so much time because of it, so Nick will be absolutely kicking himself. But let's not take away from J. Cole. Great race. Axel on his home race. A good podium. Matteo would be disappointed, but let's not forget championship. It's about consistency, like we said. Another podium.
He's still leading.
And he'll be in the lead of the championship, so without winning a race. So if he can start winning races, then watch out. Tony fifth, I think he'll be happy with that. I think obviously the safety car didn't help him, I don't think, but back on the grid to fifth, good points, as well as Casper, Lukey in eighth, Papa Squanch, good drive for him, Barrett in 10th, Entity, well done, he got some points at least, Unarmed in 12th, finishing off our point scorers.
And Unarmed, I would have to say, I'm a bit disappointed because he lost quite a bit of points to like Matteo there, and he's going to drop way down the field in terms of the results. So where was he? So he was second in the championship. Tony's going to gain on him. Ben, obviously, he was lucky that he's not here. Jake also going to jump quite a bit on Nick as well in the championship. And that sort of too. So not a podium that I was expecting. But Jamie did go through your results, so we do not have to go through it again. But for beauty of Cam, because otherwise Cam will hate me if I don't do this. Here are the results on screen. I'll just scroll down for you. Leroy was the only driver that retired. At least Conzo finished the race. Outside the top 10, the fastest lap went to Entity, so he gets an extra point for that. And inside the top 10 belongs to Matteo. So Matteo gets the fastest lap inside the top 10, so he gets an extra point on that one. Jamie, we got to pick our drivers of the day, and since you're the guest, I'll let you go first.
Well, I'll let you pick J. Cole because you said that already, but it's a hard one, but I think because the drivers, it was a clean race, but a lot of the drivers in the top did make mistakes. But I think I'm going to have to go for Axelot for getting the podium. I think good race for him. Obviously, disappointing with Austria, but yeah, good race at his home race. And I'm going to say well done. I'm going to say, how hard did you push on that last lap to get that second place off Matteo?
That was a good question. And of course, as Jamie said, I said in the middle of the race that I was going to go with J. Cole, and if he won that race, I would have stuck by it, and I have. So J. Cole's my driver of the day, and my question is, brilliant post from you today. Did you think you were going to be on the podium, let alone winning the race, even when you got a 10-second penalty during that safety car period? So that is my question for J. Cole. The drivers will be able to vote for that in the next couple of days or so. And we've had some stellar races in both tiers tonight. But as we were saying earlier, the next race, if we get the calendar up, will be Baku, sprint race galore. I think it was a sprint race last time as well, but that's what the drivers voted for. I didn't vote for it. I voted for a different track. It should have been Silverstone, just saying. But it's not.
But anyway.
Yeah, but what would we expect with these P1 drivers going into Baku next week, especially with it being a sprint race?
Well, it's just going to be absolute carnage first, I think. That's what I expect. Safety cars, there'll be incidents, there'll be last lap overtakes. You've got to save your battery management would be key, because I imagine it'd be a nightmare around there. I think rear tyre degradation would be a nightmare around there. I think it'd be a nightmare around there, but I think we'll get a good race out of it, hopefully.
I think we will as well, and I'm very excited for that one, and I hope you will be excited for that too. A final quick shout out to our sponsors: Next Level Racing, Vespertine, Pure Sim Gear, SimGrid, and Mental Health Foundation. We went through all the sponsors earlier on. Thank you for Jamie for joining me at such short notice. I apologise for asking you at short notice, but I didn't want to be alone, so thank you for joining me. Hopefully Mike will join next week. I'm wondering if he overslept or anything, which is a shame, but he missed out on a good race. Hopefully he'll join me for the great sprint race next week in Azerbaijan. So for myself and Jamie, have a good one. We will see you next week at 7 o'clock for Baku, and don't forget we got the P2 tier, which is on just before us at 5 o'clock with Nick and Colin in the commentary box. So have a good evening. We will see you same time next week. And I'm trying to find the offline screen. There we go. Take care. Bye-bye.